welcome back. It's Gigi from Spoon again. I have 2 more recipes to show you using the components from your winner whole chicken dinner. Remember that we are selling that this week and then having to close after the 30th, but we are wanting to share these goodies with you and share these recipes for making good, wholesome, real, home-cooked food using the components from that chicken dinner. So, previously we showed you how to make a Mexican chicken soup, how to make a Thai chicken pizza, how to make your little shepherd's pie, how to make a pasta fagioli, and today I'm showing you how to make a roasted veggie frittata. There's the husband, and there's our dog Bilbo. So we're making a roasted veggie frittata, and then also making a super easy Mediterranean style chicken and arugula sandwich. It's going to be served open faced. I actually have some buns, our ciabatta, in the oven right now, heating up and getting toasted. I'm going to go ahead and pull these out so we're ready to make our sandwiches in just a little bit. But I have a pan heating right now on the stove with a little bit of oil. I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle in just a smidgen of salt. And with your chicken dinner, you've got a bunch of roasted vegetables. I went ahead and chopped them up kind of finely, just rough chop, along with some kale. And we're going to go ahead and get that right down into the pan and get this like sizzling up. We had green beans and carrots and butternut squash and roasted red peppers in this. We kind of make a different mixture every single time. But this just goes to show you that if you have any veggies hanging around the house, even some of the frozen ones, you can let them thaw, roast them just slightly for a little bit, and then toss them in the pan with a little bit of salt and some oil. We want our kale to go ahead and kind of wilt down just a little bit and get everything nice and hot, because then what I'm going to add to this is, I took with my immersion hand blender, or you can use a regular blender, I took 8 eggs and a little chunk, like 4 ounces of cream cheese, and a little bit of salt and pepper, and a little bit of fresh herbs if you have them. If you don't, it's totally fine. And I went ahead and blended that so it's totally pureed and it's ready to go ahead and add to our pan. I just want to saute this just a little bit longer. A little bit hot, so I'll get my towel back again. Okay, and now that they're kind of like the spinach has wilted down, it's going to continue cooking in the oven, so not a problem. You could also put some shredded potato in here, or if you had any of that like shredded potato hash brown mixture they sell at some places. I got one that has like root vegetables. Throw a handful of that in here and you can just make this frittata even bigger. But this one is pretty awesome because now that we've got this, and by the way, this is a nonstick pan and it's oven proof. If you don't have an oven proof nonstick pan, get a cake pan. Brush it with some butter or some oil or some cooking spray. Maybe even if you want, put a little parchment in the bottom, but it's not totally necessary. And you can always start your mixture in a regular pan on the stove and then just transfer it to the baking dish or the baking pan and pop it in the oven. Okay? So, in goes this egg cream cheese mixture. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of stir it around like you do when you're making scrambled eggs, just to get it started. And you can either top it with some cheese, which I don't currently have out of my little area here yet, but you can always top it with cheese later. Put it on the table with some condiments, some sour cream or creme fraiche, you know, your favorite salsa. If you had some sausage or vegetarian sausage or soy chorizo or one of those kind of things, you could get that in there. And I just want to get this kind of like partially cooked, but still quite liquidy before it goes into the oven. Because I want this to kind of take a little less time than you would take if you were making this like as a quiche or something like that. This allows you also to make something that's gluten-free, so that if you have a family that's like mixed dietary, some people are vegetarian, some people are gluten-free, some people are eating tons of gluten, some people are in the corner in the closets eating salamis by themselves, whatever, you can always kind of make this and then just put toppings on the table that kind of adhere to everybody's dietary choices. So, but you've got all this really good for you stuff in here. Now that this is kind of set a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and spread it out. And then I'm going to go ahead and pop it in the oven. Okay, so that's that, right? So I have these little ciabattas that I toasted in the oven. They're here. We still have our one little pile of the roasted chicken that we chopped up. Bilbo, do you want to come back to your bed here? There we go. He wants to look out the window. You have your 2 ounces of goddess dressing that comes with your arugula salad, right? We also have some of the herbs, some fresh chopped tomato, some extra virgin olive oil, a little bit of canned garbanzo beans, some lemon, all of these wonderful flavors and things that are really good for you, high in fiber, high in protein, high in vitamin C. I went to the store the other day to get some more vitamin C, and apparently, holy Toledo, everyone's running to get vitamin C right now. So, not a big deal. Just bulk up on your tomatoes. Even if you had canned tomatoes, you could really make it with that. Just drain them and toss them with a little olive oil. Maybe you can cook them down for just a little bit in a pan with some garlic. And then once it's kind of cooled down, then you can put that into this, because this is basically like a nice, beautiful, like chicken salad. All right, so here's our chicken that's finely chopped. You can always add more, or if you had some lunch meat or roasted tofu or something, you could totally do that. And we just want all that chicken, it's been chilled properly, thank you very much, to go right here. Now, if you want to, you can go ahead and mix your arugula salad right into there. It has some feta, some sunflower seeds, or you can do it separately. If I do it separately, then what I can do is take half of this and make sandwiches with it today, and the next half, and I can add that to a pasta dish tomorrow to, again, just kind of enhance what we have and stretch what you have. So I'm going to go ahead and leave like half of this in here, and the other half I'll just put as like a topping on our little sandwiches. We can go ahead and pull our pan over here, and we're just making these open-faced, so it's pretty easy, right? And that way people can just kind of pick it up and eat it, and it's a lot more filling. I like to add a little bit of chili flakes myself. I'm a fan. I use the organic crushed red peppers, and then I also use my other favorite thing that some of my customers are totally used to me bringing to the table when you get our pasta and linguine and stuff like that, is the Aleppo chiles. They're not super spicy, but they kind of have a smokiness to them, and it's a very distinct flavor that I really like. So this juiciness is in there with the lemons and the juice from the tomatoes and the olive oil and that little tahini goddess dressing that I make every day here at Spoon. It's going to go down and give like a really nice mouthfeel to the bread and soak in. And I love it when you toast it and you have like a little bit crunchy and then like a little bit of edges of the bread get kind of soggy, and that's really good. You can just put a whole tray of these out. Make sure everyone gets a little bit of chicken, a little bit of the tomatoes. Pull this little puppy here. If you have more feta cheese, you can, you know, sprinkle more of that on there. I'm always a cheesy person, so actually what I was planning on doing when we make this for us this week, I'm gonna like make cheesy toast first in the oven and then top it. So take some of my Parmesan and my sharp cheddar. Look at how much food this makes. I mean, this is a lot. If you're a lighter eater, then maybe you're just eating one side and then tonight having the other side with something else. But dude, I mean, that's a lot of food, right? So we're gonna break up some of this feta just a little bit more into my leftover bits of the arugula salad here. We use just the organic arugula, little baby arugula. It's got a little sunflower seeds. You can always add more if you wanted to. Just put a little bit on in between these little two things here. It's really pretty too, but this smells incredible. And that garlic, yeah, we have roasted garlic and stuff that we put with our roasted chicken. But believe me, you guys are going to want to stock up on some raw garlic. It's really, really good for you. Raw garlic and raw onions. They help your immune system. And then I'm just going to go ahead and do a little drizzle of extra virgin olive oil over it. That's a little more than a drizzle in that one, isn't it? I do have a bottle somewhere. I also have a bottle with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil that's infused with white truffle. That would be great on this as well. So, check that out. All of that from that one side of the chicken with a little bit of the salad and then our dressing and all those other little goodies that chances are you have. If you don't have garbanzos, you have white beans, you have black beans, dude, it's the same thing. It's just about enhancing what you have, making use of some of the items that are sitting in your pantry or that are readily available at this point in time, and making sure that you can enhance the nutritional value of whatever you have and share it with your family. Okay, so I'll be back with you in just like a minute. Our frittatas in the oven, we'll be bringing it out in just a second. Hey guys, so I have our frittata in the oven. I have to admit, I was like, oh, that's cool, you can put cheese as an option. Well, for me, it's not an option, like I have to have cheese on it. So I went ahead and pulled it out when it's about halfway done. And I noticed that the center was just a little bit oogier than I wanted to, and I'm feeling impatient and wanted to get done sooner. Not a problem. I took my little rubber spatula, and I just went ahead and dug a hole in the center where the juicy stuff still was, and I let some of the juices flow to the bottom of the pan so they can start to cook. I just kind of stirred it around a little bit, spread it back out. I topped it with some of my aged white cheddar that we love to use. We use it in our mac and cheese and in our cheesy toast and stuff like that. And I went ahead and popped it back in the oven. I put it in the top rack so that I can now get that brown, get that melty going on. I want some golden edges. Normally when you're making like a quiche or you're making just scrambled eggs, according to the whole culinary world and what we learned in culinary school, you don't want to have any brown on your eggs. But on a frittata, I actually like the crispy edge because I like to be able to either turn out the whole thing onto a pan, onto someplace where I can cut it and just like drag it out onto my cutting board so I can cut it in wedges and serve it. But you also want to have that like browning on the edges on the top with the cheese and all that kind of thing. Another note is that you've probably stocked up on some things like nuts and seeds, things that are really good for you and have a high nutritional impact, or maybe add more fiber or add those healthy fats or add that protein to your diet, and keep kind of thinking of new ways to use some of these things. A lot of times I go to people's homes and I'm making some food and I'll top something that's kind of like that sandwich or like my scrambled eggs or like an omelet or a frittata, toasted almonds and toasted sesame seeds and things right on top. A lot of folks just use those almonds and sesame seeds or things like that on top of a salad or just on like yogurt and fruit or just eating as like a trail mixy thing. And that gets kind of old, but I find that food is more satisfying if it has a different texture. So we're gonna have this like kind of a little bit of spiciness. We're gonna have that brown edges and that kind of like softly firm egg mixture in the middle. We're gonna have the bits of the vegetables. We're gonna have the melty gooey cheese. I wanna add a crunch factor to this or a little kind of extra nutrition. So I have some toasted sesame seeds. Again, a lot of times I'm using toasted almonds or cashews or anything like that. Start mixing it up and garnishing your soups or garnishing the tops of your omelets and things like that with these items. So it's a way that, number one, you're getting more nutritional impact and you're just making it a little bit more interesting. So I'm gonna go ahead and get our frittata out of the oven. It's ready. It's only been in here for just a few minutes. Woohoo! Oh my gosh. Check that out, people. So we have this beautiful golden edges. I can just kind of make sure that this thing can come up. See that? Really nice. Cooked on the bottom, nice and golden, but it's not burnt. It smells so good. Lisa, doesn't it smell good? Mm-hmm. Those roasted peppers and all that good stuff and the cheese and everything. I'm gonna go ahead and try and drag this thing onto my cutting board so I can now cut this into wedges. This can feed 4, big time, or 6 like we're trying to do, or cut it even smaller in pieces if you're serving this with a side salad or a bunch of other things and making a brunch. There's no reason why you can't, even if you're living alone, enjoy and sit down and actually dine rather than just eating. Like maybe turn off the TV just for like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, set the table up, garnish it, make it nice for yourself. So now here we have our little frittata, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut it into wedges that I can now serve. So I'm gonna go ahead and do 8 with this one. And this is basically almost like a crushless quiche. I do have some Prosecco chilling that we can have in a little bit. You can make mimosas. You can just have a really great little smoothie. There's that little guy. A little more of my peppers on the top. I've got some fresh organic strawberries. Here's my little toasted sesame seeds. Sesame seeds, by the way, are a good source of calcium. Did you know that? Not like I'm lacking calcium with all the cheese I like to eat. If you're going big and you're like, dude, that ain't enough food for me, no problema. Turn that little puppy around. Get another one going here. All right. So check it out, people. With 2 little sides that you get with your chicken dinner for 4 that you guys may just sit down and just eat and be done with and just have one meal out of, we've made 6. This is the final video that shows you those last 2 recipes that I'll be also posting so you guys can all get them and make them. But look at how much food we made from using those 2 sides and some of our little pantry items and things we already have at home to make some good, nutritional, yummy food. Thanks so much, you guys. We miss you. We love you. Be healthy, be safe, be strong, and we'll see you soon.